Tulsi Gabbard had an appearance on The View that the internet is abuzz about. So I got it here. I haven't watched it yet. So we're going to watch it together. If you haven't seen it yet, you're seeing it for the first time with me. If you have seen it already, well, I'm seeing it for the first time. But Tulsi Gabbard went on The View and defended herself, basically. I mean, that's the gist of it. She defended herself. She confronted some of the criticism she has been receiving, that she's a Russian asset, as made famous by Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton united the country, by the way, in everybody saying how ridiculous she is. Everybody, yeah, Beto O'Rourke had the right response to that. Even Kamala Harris was like, okay, Hillary, that's all right. You're accusing a veteran of being a Russian asset. You have no proof of this whatsoever. You're just saying it. All right. But anyway, here we go. Let's check this out. I'm excited to watch some of this. All right. Let me make sure the volume's up for you all. And boom.
I want to start with something that I think is also important about facts, because recently on your show here.
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Helping you out.
You want me to ask you?
Yeah. No, look, some of you have accused me of being a.
She just kept going. Do you see that? They were like, we'll ask you the question. We got a question. And she's like, no, I don't want. And I don't blame her, because a lot of times when she's on shows like these, and you know, the same thing happens to Bernie Sanders. It's not, but they'll ask these baiting questions. Like maybe the question was going to be, are you a Russian asset? And she wants to tell her truth. She wants to set the record straight. I don't blame her for just barreling through. She probably planned it that way. And I think that's the right approach. Don't give them an opportunity to bait you. Don't give them an opportunity to, you know, give you this question that you're going to then have to start digging out of the hole of that question to get to say what you want to say. All right.
A traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used, which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that.
I want to let your.
All right, now it looks like Joy's a little annoyed. It looks like Joy's a little annoyed at this point. I feel, you know, I don't watch The View often. I mean, I never watch The View, really. I watch it whenever, like basically whenever we're doing a segment on it on the Jimmy Dore show, or in a situation like this where something really gets popular on the blogosphere and it's like, oh, I want to talk about it. I'll get your news on with Ron. That's the only time I ever watched The View. But the few times I've watched it, I get this vibe that Joy Behar kind of wants to do the right thing. Like she knows what the right thing to do is, and it seems like she wants to do it. I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong on that. But I get that vibe. But and I'm having a hard time whether or not that's the case here. Like part of me feels like, oh, she wants to set Tulsi Gabbard up on the tee to kind of to say her piece, to defend herself. But then part of me is like, I feel like she's annoyed by her, where she's just like, well, that's a Russian term. I can't tell if she's just trying to invoke a little bit of humor in it or if she's genuinely annoyed. It's tough to tell. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Is she genuinely annoyed, or is she just trying to invoke humor and setting Tulsi Gabbard up? I'm not sure. I mean, as we go on, I might have a decision. But as of right now, I'm like 50-50. Anyway, let's keep watching.
Your viewers know exactly who I am.
All right.
Set the record straight. I am a patriot. I love our country. I am a strong and intelligent woman of color, and I have dedicated almost my entire adult life to protecting the safety, security, and the freedom of all.
Can I show this Rich afford a cough button, by the way? The View doesn't have, you don't have a thing where you can press your thing if you need to cough. There was a cough on the air. They couldn't. Anyway. All right. Maybe that was on purpose. I don't know.
Americans in this country. It was the attacks on 9/11.
Well,
got the crowd.
I guess we're getting a little bit far ahead of ourselves, but Franklin Graham finds you refreshing. He doesn't find me refreshing. Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, says he could vote for you.
Joy, this is why,
I mean, you're on
here.
Tucker Carlson at least 10 times. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show?
This is why I'm here, because you and other people continue to spread these innuendos that have nothing to do with who I am.
Well, Hillary Clinton started it, and then you shot back at her, boy. You called her the queen of warmongers.
You doubled down, unfortunately, Emily, you doubled down on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier.
Okay, by the way, I'm just going to insert this now. That thing I was saying earlier where I'm not sure where Joy Behar is on this one, I'm going to go with the latter. She wasn't trying to set her up and give her an opportunity to defend herself. She was trying to have a gotcha moment. I'm pretty sure that's what Joy Behar was doing here. I think once she asked those questions, that became abundantly clear. Trying to make these points of association of these, you know, some of these terrible people who have said kind things about Tulsi Gabbard, which, by the way, they never bring up the fact that Tulsi Gabbard has refuted that when David Duke tweeted something about Tulsi Gabbard, she did respond and said, no, thank you. She said, no, thank you. I do not want to be associated with you. They never bring up that part. But anyway, all right, so let's see what they have to say to each other here.
Because of the attacks on 9/11, I enlisted in the military to go after and defeat and destroy the evil that visited us on that day. I've served now for over 16 years, deployed twice the Middle East during the height of the war, where every single day I saw firsthand the terribly high human cost. That's why I ran for Congress.
We actually have the clip of Hillary Clinton, just to put this in context of what we're talking about. Let's take a look at that.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of, you know, sites and bots.
Oh my God. No evidence. No, she's just saying words. Like, she's just spewing this stuff with no evidence whatsoever, with no, I mean, this is just a baseless, and she's bringing Jill Stein into it too. We all know this. We've covered this already on the show, but it's every time you hear it, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I mean,
other ways of supporting her so far. And that's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
A red's under your bed, Hillary.
So really? I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous and offensive on so many levels. I've served as a member of Congress now for almost 7 years, receiving high-level national security and intelligence briefings, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, working to ensure the safety and security of the people of this country. This is why I'm running for president, to continue that commitment of service.
So are you surprised, though, that when people see bots and things and all the things that we've sort of been seeing heading you away?
Let's bring it back to Russia.
That
My
people
God.
have these questions, because she's not the only one. Hillary, I don't think, is the only one. So what she's saying is she feels they are grooming you. You're saying nobody's grooming me. I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm a soldier and a patriot.
It's offensive to me as a soldier, as an American, as a member of Congress, as a veteran, and frankly, as a woman, to be so demeaned in such a way.
But you called her the personification of rock.
So demeaned
She's a woman
in such
too.
a way. Well, I'm pointing to the fact that she has continued this legacy of being the world's police around the world, that has waged wars costing the lives of thousands of my brothers and sisters in uniform. I'm speaking out against that. And
What's your evidence to that?
To change.
Well, can I?
What's her evidence of that? Oh my, what? Oh my, I watched this clip for the first time live with you people. And at first, I thought Joy Behar wanted to be the good guy. I thought there was a chance that was the case. I said maybe. Thank goodness I said maybe. Because 30 seconds later, we found out that's for sure not the case. What's the evidence of that? And by the way, sometimes I have to stop these videos because of copyright issues. So don't yell at me later that I look forward to this response. She just said, what's the evidence of that? Gee, I don't know. Every vote where Hillary Clinton has been for every single war, we came, we saw, he died. How about that? What's the evidence for that? What's the evidence? What's the evidence for that? She said that with a straight thing. She is on national television on one of the most viewed shows. What's the evidence? And they're bringing up all these red herrings, no pun intended, about Russian influence. What do they think happens? Do they think like one day Tulsi Gabbard or Jill Stein or whoever else they decide is a Russian asset is just sitting around minding their own business, doing their work, and all of a sudden from beneath the sink they hear hello, and they're like, what was that? Hello, it is me, Russian asset. Hello, come look under the sink. We want to influence you now. Like what do they think happens? It is the dumbest. It is the most McCarthyism. It is so ridiculous that, I mean, it's unbelievable this still gets lip service, but we know why it does, because it's the corporate media and they have nothing else. They have nothing else. All right, let's hear a response.
Let's hear it.
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
I served in the war
Not
in
you,
Iraq.
her. You're saying that she's
exactly.
she's a
I served
warmonger. How
in
do
the
you come
war
up with
in
that?
Iraq
Yeah.
that she championed. She championed a regime change war
Did you not
in
believe
Libya.
in that war?
I believe the lies that were told to us.
Well, so did she.
So it is indisputable. It is indisputable to say anything other than the fact that Hillary, let me just close this out, that Hillary Clinton throughout her career has led with a foreign policy of interventionism and being the world's police, going and toppling dictators in other countries that has caused such destruction and loss of life. I'm against that. I'm running for president to change that. Rather than actually debate me on the issues, she and others are resorting to these smear tactic campaigns, seeking to undermine me, smear my character, and sending a message to anyone who dissents. Stand, toe the line, or you too will be smeared.
Oh my God, that was hard. I mean, that was painful to. Do you have evidence? I mean, okay, and so, oh well, Hillary Clinton believed the lies, Tulsi. So did you. That's what Joy Behar said. Like, okay, well, what has happened since then? Tulsi Gabbard has been a non-interventionist who has been against regime change wars. Hillary Clinton has not seen a war she didn't like. I mean. Oh, wow. It's like, what evidence do you have of that? What evidence do you have you're being groomed? I mean, what was Whoopi Goldberg's question about? Like, what was that even? What do you think happens? Has anybody asked that? That's the question that needs to be asked on the corporate media. That's what I wish. And I know, I mean, Tulsi Gabbard had a lot coming at her. I'm not saying like, but what I wish she would have done, I wish she would have just been like, so what do you think happened? You're saying I'm a Russian asset. I'm being groomed. What does that involve? Did somebody show up at my house? Did I take a trip to Russia? Was I maybe seen at the same table as Putin? What happened? What is the process when that happens? Please explain it to me. Please explain it. And those are the questions that need to be asked of these just McCarthy parroting talking heads. Like, what does that mean? What is it? I was groomed. What does that mean? Ask your friends. I've asked my friends before. Where they're just like, well, Russia. I was just like, well, what does that mean? What did Russia do? What did Russia do? What specifically happened? Okay, a troll farm in Russia that was meant to spam people tweeted a bunch of nonsense. Okay, yeah, that happened. All right. How did that affect our election? What did that really do? How... In the big scheme of things, how large of a role does that play? Besides barely passing the laugh test. In fact, not even passing the laugh test. Some spam was posted on Facebook and Twitter. So what does that even compare, by the way, to what we do to other elections all the time? So what is that? Will that influence people? How did it influence that? I had somebody who I consider an intelligent person with a straight face. And I'm like, you want to tell me that a handful of Facebook memes that were seen by about 300 people in most cases, they were seen by 300 people or less in most cases, that were in broken English most of the time. You want to tell me that took down a $2 billion campaign. And that person with a straight face said yes. They said, yeah, I do. I said, why do you think? They're like, well, I just know how influential social media is. And I said, you're insane. You have been watching MSNBC way too much. You have been watching all of this nonsense way too much. You can't believe that Donald Trump won. Although a lot of us knew it was going to happen. A lot of us said, holy shit, Trump's going to win. We are going to have Donald Trump as president, which is horrifying beyond comprehension. And it's been an utter disaster. And that's putting it gently. A lot of us saw it coming, but a lot didn't, and it disconnected all of their critical thinking skills. It just disconnected their critical thinking skills to where they needed a scapegoat, and that scapegoat for 3 years and counting has been Russia, and it's not going to stop. It is not going to stop. I thought it'd be over by now. I'm sure you did too. It's not, and it's not going to end. It will go through the election. It will continue if Trump is reelected. And if Trump's reelected, I mean, what do you do at this point? Because if Trump is reelected, there is truly no opposition. There just isn't. If they cheat Bernie again and Trump gets reelected, which is, if they cheat Bernie again, Trump's going to get reelected. Wow. And this is considered a valid news program. This is considered a valid news program, what we just watched, where they just asked, they play that clip from Hillary Clinton like that's fine. Why didn't they ask, what evidence do you have of that? Why didn't Joy Behar say, hey, what evidence does she have of that? What evidence does she have that Jill Stein and Tulsi Gabbard are Russian? None whatsoever. None. It's just a soundbite. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then they try to make it out like, oh, Hillary just made a misstep on Iraq. That's just, oh, she just made a misstep just like everyone else did. They believed the lies. She hasn't been for every other single war, too. Hillary Clinton's never seen a war she didn't like. She's proud of it. She brags about it. She brags about Libya. She laughs about it. She giggles about it. Never hasn't cheered on intervention in Syria or anywhere else. Never has a thing to say about Afghanistan. And they're saying, where's the evidence of that? Are you kidding, Joy? Where's the evidence of Hillary Clinton being pro-war? That's a statement a supposed journalist made on national television with a straight face. With a straight face. But the concerns about Tulsi Gabbard being a Russian asset or Jill Stein being a Russian asset, those are real concerns. Those are valid. I mean, this is beyond a parody of itself at this point. Hillary Clinton being a warmonger, what evidence do you have of that? Jill Stein, Tulsi Gabbard being a Russian asset, those are valid concerns. I mean, that is comically terrible. And I only hope that someday when the history books are written, we look back on this as exactly what it is, which is neo-McCarthyism. And we kind of realize what this actually was. But I mean, a lot of people don't even realize what happened the first time. A lot of people don't even realize it was largely McCarthyism that crushed the Communist Party movement in this country, that crushed a lot of the labor unions, that crushed a lot of the social movements. It was McCarthyism that really played a role in squashing all that. Because, hey, if you disagree with the status quo, if you disagree with capitalism, you're a red, baby. That's what happened in the 30s. It happened again in the 60s. It's happening again now. So this is history repeating itself. And a lot of people didn't learn those lessons then. So this is just another chapter of all that. And, you know, the United States read 1984 by George Orwell and considered it a blueprint. They considered it a how-to guide. We need a Eurasia. We always have to be at war with somebody. We always have to have some enemy. We need a Eurasia. Oh, ours is Russia. Perfect. Wow. I mean, I'm glad Tulsi got to defend herself, but man, that was painful to watch. That was very painful to watch. And you should never, God. And I'm not sitting here saying Tulsi Gabbard's perfect. She's not. There's some things I disagree with her on. But when you find yourself rooting for the politician over the journalist, something is tragically wrong. But that's our media. More often than not. I mean, whenever Bernie's on camera, you should be rooting for the journalist to hold Bernie Sanders accountable for the things he should be held accountable for the things where he's not as strong on. Same with Tulsi Gabbard. You should be counting on them. I wish they would have asked her, hey, why aren't you for a jobs guarantee? Let's talk about it. Ask some real questions. Have some valid criticisms. Not, oh, well, it's a concern that you're a Russian asset. And Hillary Clinton, you hurt Hillary Clinton's feelings. That was Joy Behar's agenda in that entire clip, which I actually thought she might have had good intentions at first. Boy, 40 seconds was all it took for that to be proven wrong. But that was her entire agenda in that clip. Let's stand up for Hillary Clinton. You called Hillary Clinton this. You said this about Hillary Clinton. You said all these painfully accurate things about Hillary Clinton. And why? Because Hillary Clinton just made a bogus, hateful smear based in nothing. And then you're going to shame Tulsi Gabbard for defending herself? And Tulsi Gabbard Didn't like everything she said about Hillary Clinton. 100% true. 100% provable. Hillary Clinton, what Hillary Clinton said about her, 0%. 0% provable. 0% true. Unbelievable. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your